South India's #1 travel brand. You know you are special when you're with GT Holidays.
Milky Mist Paneer. Milky Mist Paneer.
Hello and welcome to Galatta Plus. In this video review episode, we are going to be talking about Sukumar's ultra long Pushpa the Rule. The film is a solid series of mass scenes that works best when Allu Arjun and Fahadh Faasil are playing cat and mouse. Once the Fahadh character moves out to make way for a new set of villains, the film's energy drops drastically. The last hour appears interminable, the new villains are generic and unmemorable, and the film becomes all about Pushpa, Pushpa, Pushpa. The rest of this review may have spoilers, so read or watch at your own discretion. The first installment of Pushpa, written and directed by Sukumar, was based on one external narrative and one internal narrative. The external journey of the protagonist, played by Allu Arjun in a national award-winning performance, was a meticulously detailed account of how a coolie rose up the ranks of a red sandalwood smuggling syndicate, making deals with various people from the criminal empire. The second journey, the internal journey, was about Pushpa being the bastard son of a local big shot and how he was constantly battling the angst that he did not have a legitimate father's name. These two narratives came together spectacularly in the last half hour with the entrance of the psychotic cop played by Fahadh Faasil named Bhavar Singh Shekhawat. He became a part of both the external and the internal journeys by setting out to end Pushpa's criminal activities and also by questioning his identity. Pushpa 2, called The Rule, is at its best when it stays on the cat and mouse game between Shekhawat and Pushpa. Pushpa humiliated Shekhawat at the end of the first film, and that humiliation becomes as much a source of angst for Shekhawat as Pushpa's illegitimacy is to Pushpa. So in a way, Shekhawat too gets an external and an internal journey, namely to put an end to Pushpa's reign of crime and to somehow salvage his ego after the humiliation. From the opening scene, the film keeps switching back and forth between the external journey and the internal journey. The terrific hero introduction shot occurs in Japan when a container of red sandalwood is seized, and just as we think we are getting a full-on heroic action scene, we cut abruptly to Pushpa's vulnerable childhood where boys make fun of his parentage. And then on, like in part 1, we get one solid mass scene after another. When it comes to the macho masala film and its rowdy cousin, the mass film, Telugu cinema still does it best, especially with actors who go out on a limb like Allu Arjun and Fahadh Faasil. Let me list a few scenes that are fascinatingly and sometimes nuttily out of the box. The one that involves policemen standing in line. The bit in a song where Pushpa lights a cigarette from his shirt that has accidentally caught fire. The series of events that lead to a photograph with the chief minister. The negotiations with a crook in the Maldives. The entire stretch about Pushpa apologizing to Shekhawat. The chase that involves a dam and elephants and cattle. The conversation that occurs entirely through whistling. Sure, some of this could have been shorter in a film that goes on for nearly 3.5 hours, but then perhaps shortness is not something you should expect in a movie where everything is big. Pushpa's house is big. The film's scale, each frame is big. In an amusing running gag, Srivalli, a very effective Rashmika Mandanna, her sexual appetite is big. Pushpa's dress sense, the gold buckle, the painted nail, the printed shirts, that's big. Devi Sri Prasad's music is big. The erotically charged choreography is big. The colors are big. The crowds are big. The action scenes, especially a chase in the sea, are big. And the temple festival sequence is one of the biggest stretches of writing with varied emotions that I have ever seen. It begins with a sentimental moment involving Srivalli. It moves on to Pushpa's reaction to this revelation, which is presented in the form of dance. And then we get the introduction of new villains who will take the story forward. This results in an action sequence, and after sentiment, dance, character establishment and action, we get a long dramatic sequence that circles back to Pushpa's illegitimacy with Srivalli standing up for her husband. One of the most interesting aspects of Pushpa 2, the film, and Pushpa the man, the character, is how vulnerable and emotional he is. And this is despite the macho things he does in his trade. Allu Arjun plays both the internal and external aspects of Pushpa in a perfectly larger-than-life meter, and Fahadh Faasil is super entertaining as a volatile cop who doesn't seem to know himself what he will do next. But once Shekhawat moves out to make way for the new set of villains, the film's energy and inventiveness drop drastically. I wanted more of the cat and mouse game between Shekhawat and Pushpa. While it's understandable that we need the new villains to bring about closure to Pushpa's illegitimacy issue, these portions go on and on. The last hour especially appears interminable. The new villains are generic and unmemorable, and the film becomes all about Pushpa, Pushpa, Pushpa. The emotion that was palatable in bits and pieces in between the external journey now becomes the sole driving factor of the film, and the story becomes predictable and a drag. Important characters like the ones played by Sunil and Anasuya disappear, and we keep staring at the same set of faces. Pushpa the Rule works up to a point until it turns into a stereotypical action sentiment spectacle with the threat of rape still being used to goad the hero into action. The film ends with a setup for part 3. It's definitely of interest, but I hope they stick to what worked in part 1 and in the Shekhawat parts of this film. Pushpa is at his best when outwitting people who are trying to bring him down. Otherwise, he's just another action hero doing fan service. That's it about Pushpa the Rule. If you like this video review, do subscribe to Galatta Plus and see you soon at the movies.
South India's #1 travel brand. You know you are special when you're with GT Holidays.
Milky Mist Paneer. Milky Mist Paneer.